One of the island's malls is getting bigger, providing shoppers with a range of new products and services. Sky Mall, located at Haggett Hall, St. Michael, is utilizing the available space within the complex without having to extend outward. The mall will soon be home to the new Massey Stores supermarket, a gym, and more stores are to open.
The new Massey Stores supermarket at Sky Mall, Haggett Hall is set to be opened late next week. That's the word from Managing Director Neville Brewster. Work on renovating the space formerly occupied by Trimart Supermarket got underway earlier this year, after that supermarket closed, with the owners saying it will reopen at a different location in due course. Over 100 Barbadians have found employment at this new Massey Stores supermarket. It is currently being stocked and is said to be about 90% ready. The other supermarkets owned by Massey are Warren St. Michael, Sunset Crest St. James, as well as Worthing, Sergeant Village and Oistins in Christchurch. An 8,500 square foot gym is also to be opened at Sky Mall in early October. It will cater not only to the fitness conscious, but will be providing remedial care. 9 other stores are to be opened at Sky Mall as well. Kishmar Sanjis, CBC News.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says Barbados will have to make it easier to do business as it ultimately has an impact on foreign direct investment. Mr. Sinclair made the comment at the official launch of the ASICUDA, or Automated System for Customs Data, World's implementation at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Center. He says while Barbados is ranked 3rd among Caribbean and Central American countries in the most recent Global Competitiveness Index, the ease of doing business has been declining.
The World Bank has consistently assigned a poor ranking in relation to the ease of doing business in Barbados. According to its last Doing Business report published in October 2013, Barbados was placed 91 out of 189 countries. A ranking of 30th was assigned to trading across borders. Now, certainly, we need to address these major indicators of competitiveness, especially if we are to successfully stimulate private sector investment as well as foreign direct investment.
Meanwhile, Mr. Sinclair says the ASICUDA system, due to be officially implemented early next year, should result in some improvements in key index indicators.
We continue to perform relatively weaker in the area of goods marketing efficiency, to which this system and others apply, ranking 75th in 2013-14, down from 64 the previous year, and 56 in 2011-2012. So therefore, it is reasonable to see that our ranking is going down.
2 of the 32 new justices of the peace installed yesterday say there is room for their roles to be expanded so that they can contribute more to society. One of them is former Deputy Police Commissioner Bertie Hines.
A couple of years back, people were touting the idea that perhaps with the myriad of minor cases in the traffic court and so on, that perhaps JPs could, be commissioned to do, these cases and so on. But in a dynamic society, yes, there could be an increased role because, as you would see, law enforcement is always being challenged and whatnot, and whatever relief or who can come in as support for law enforcement, I believe there could be room.
And former Senior Superintendent Morgan Graves agrees, but he thinks the final decision has to be made at the level of government.
I've heard persons said already that, the JPs, in some jurisdictions, where certain JPs, once they're properly trained, can assist in courts and minor matters and so on. I think that has been something that I've heard persons say that has happened in other places, but it's a matter of the law and government and everything would have to deal with those matters.
Well, 22 men and 10 women took the oath of office at Government House before Governor General Sir Elliot Belgrave yesterday. Residents of the new housing development at Lancaster St. James have been assured the issue of their water installation will soon be resolved. For some who have moved into their new homes, the wait for water connections from the Barbados Water Authority has been too long. There are 85 houses at Lancaster Phases 1 and 2. Minister of Housing Dennis Kelman tells CBC News the National Housing Corporation is working with the BWA to expedite the situation.
Once we are informed, it is for us to inform the Water Authority, and once they have been informed, they normally expedite the situation. Majority of the persons living at Lancaster have water connections. The ones that do not at the present is because we were not informed in a timely manner. Because once they have paid their money to the Water Authority, we would take up the issue for them and get Water Authority to do the connection for them. The general manager has been informed.
Government is addressing the needs and concerns of a cross-section of Barbadians through the Animals, Diseases and Importation Amendment Bill. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Senator Maxine McLean, says the many visitors who call the island their second home, those who wish to import live animals and even members of the disabled will benefit from the amended legislation. She says the legislation is timely.
It will create a number of important opportunities for persons engaging with Barbados. It will be part of a process of generally ensuring that we have a regime of protection for our several stakeholders.
Senator McLean says the legislation will also seek to protect the health of residents.
We want to prevent the entry of diseases, whether it's rabies in dogs, for example. We also want to control the possibility of such things entering. And as a part of the process of prevention and control, the issue of monitoring that becomes another critical issue. And therefore, with this piece of legislation and with the necessary amendments to regulations, etc., we will see that it serves the purpose.
Independent Senator Professor Henry Fraser, who rose in support of the bill, highlighted a case where a person who was to take up a key position could not travel to the island with their pet dog.
So after doing a great deal of work to secure an appointment as director of the Chronic Disease Research Centre, that individual couldn't come because their dogs would have had to have been quarantined in Britain for 6 months. And so we lost a very good person. Now, as it turned out, of course, we had a brilliant director who replaced me 4 years later, but it meant that I had to do 2 full-time jobs with only 1 salary for 4 years. So I felt rather strongly about that situation. And then when I became dean, there were 2 highly specialized posts which we did not have academics trained in Barbados, where we had to go and recruit someone from overseas, one from the USA, one from Canada, and in both instances, dogs were part of the household.
Opposition Senator Wilfred Abrams says his side could not make a meaningful contribution to the debate. He says this was due to their inability to access the laws online.
Like a number of the senators sit at this table, I have no access to the laws and had no access to the laws of Barbados to be able to prepare for this debate. As is well known, ma'am, the physical copies of the laws of Barbados are no longer handed out to the senators. The reason being it was a cost-cutting measure and the laws were available online. The laws are now taken offline. From the time, ma'am, that I became a senator, I've been asking my good friend, the Clerk of Parliament, to provide me with a copy of the laws of Barbados, ma'am.
Senator Abrams, however, says he has no objections to the bill.
So while I have no objection to the amendment as it appears to be a relatively harmless amendment, just giving powers to the minister to make amendments to the schedules and to the regulations concerning the act, which de facto the minister already exercises the power in relation to. It is contrary, ma'am, to everything I've been trained to do as a lawyer, to approve without having seen.
Independent Senator Tony Marshall wants Barbados to set up a laboratory so tests can be carried out on the animals. He would also like to see a veterinarian in place at the Grantley Adams International Airport.
On arrival here in Barbados, one has to ensure that a vet is available at the airport. And I do not seek to embarrass anybody, but I was told make sure they came on a morning flight. Now I don't control the airlines, nor does any other dog lover. Make sure they get here in the morning and not in the evening. If they arrive in the evening, there is likely to be no vet available to give the appropriate clearance.
We'll have more news ahead in just a moment, but time now for you to become interactive. We'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you think it's getting easier to do business in Barbados? Text yes or no to short code 8111. The results at the end of the news.
It's the latest central bank series, painting the vision for growth in the Barbados economy, sharpening our competitive edge, moving from good to great. Join us every Wednesday for the program starting September 3rd in the CBC Evening News.
The 27-year-old woman who was brutally attacked yesterday at Paracelsus St. Joseph is reportedly now in stable condition. Margaret Christopher of Halls Road, St. Michael, underwent surgery at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. She is reported to be recovering from multiple lacerations received during the incident. The name of her alleged attacker has not yet been released by the police as investigations continue into that matter. No charges have yet been laid. According to Police Public Relations Officer Inspector David Welch, the man reportedly involved also underwent surgery, suffering from wounds to both wrists, which are believed to be self-inflicted. He's also reported to be in stable condition and is under police guard. The 38th edition of the Richard Stout Teen Talent Competition is here. It begins this Sunday at Divvy South Winds. Founder Richard Stout says this year's program will have a special emphasis on addressing the needs of the disabled.
We're going to focus on the disability, people with disabilities. Over the years, I've always felt that people with disabilities are not really given, the respect that is due to them. And I thought that I'll use this year to pay some attention to them. I'm hoping that someday we will see them given more opportunities in the workplace, and I feel very honored to be able to have them on board with us this year as well.
Well, this year will feature the likes of Barbadian-born, internationally based artist Lou Drayton, as well as Calypsonian Ian Webster, among others. Despite struggles with sponsorship throughout the years, Mr. Stout is happy with the support of government as well as other faithful sponsors.
I've always had problems in acquiring sponsorship, but again, I want to thank the Barbados government for, again, giving me the support in helping to bring this show again to the public once again this year. Roberts Manufacturing, who's been with me for all these years. I think Barbados Community College, who's offered a scholarship on a yearly basis now for the last 15 years or so. Sports and games. These are people who've been with me all the time, and I can depend on them.
The Barbados Defence Force has been reaching out to help some members of the community this week. It's all part of the BDF's 35th anniversary celebrations.
About 30 soldiers descended on a quiet neighborhood at Fords Road, St. Michael this morning, ready for action. Their mission to assist 96-year-old World War II veteran Herman Adams, whose property needed a facelift.
Our aim this morning was giving back to the senior citizens of Barbados, showing the softer side of the Barbados Defence Force by cleaning up the home of Mr. Herman Adams. He's also an old legionnaire and have served in World War II, so we just want to give back to the community.
A Fords Road resident for over 30 years, Mr. Adams was grateful for the assistance.
It's very important to me because at this time, so I can't get around owing to my bad leg I had. I can't get around to do what I would like done. So it's very important for me today.
The World War II veteran also told the CBC News the Barbados Regiment has been consistent over the years.
The only assistance I have ever received is from the Defense Force. No avail. Have never done anything for me.
The outreach efforts include a visit to St. Joseph tomorrow by the Barbados Coast Guard to help Gags Hill resident Sam Austin. Sean Farrell, CBC News.
The Barbados Cancer Society has received a much-needed boost in its efforts to help people affected by cancer. Courtesy Garage Limited has donated a car to be used as the first prize in the Society's annual raffle. The presentation of the 2014 Hyundai Accent, valued at over $63,000, took place at the dealer's Wilde headquarters. Sales manager of Courtesy Garage, Philip Bino, says the dealer has worked with the Barbados Cancer Society for over 10 years.
Today we are presenting the car for the Barbados Cancer Society raffle this year. We've been associated with the raffle for a number of years now. We're extremely pleased to be associated with the volunteer work that they're doing. It's a very worthy cause, and we continue to work with them and try our best to assist them where we can.
President of the Barbados Cancer Society, Dr. Dorothy Cook Johnston, says the donation will enhance the raffle's appeal.
The Cancer Society is absolutely thrilled to receive this donation from Courtesy Garage and from Mr. Philip Bino, who is the sales manager. It's not the first time. Last year we had this car and it was superbly received by the Society because of its elegant lines, its true beauty, it's stylish, everyone wants to be in it, it's roomy, it can do for an executive, it can do for a family. So we have this at $2 a ticket, and this car is, everyone would love to have this. We're so grateful to Courtesy.
Well, just a note to fans of Q in the Community, the radio program, that event will be held tomorrow, Thursday, at the Party Stand on Harbour Road near the Port Authority building. The Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre, formerly known as Sherburne Centre, is celebrating 20 years of existence with a number of activities. Members of staff celebrated the milestone today with a cake-cutting ceremony, and the celebrations will continue with a customer appreciation blitz on Friday. They will also include participation in the National Uniform and Back-to-School Supplies Drive on Saturday in association with the Progressive Optimist Club and reigning Calypso monarch Ian Webster.
Today is the anniversary of LESC, Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre. It was opened on the 13th of August in 1994, so today is the exact day that it is the anniversary, and hence why we have the cake. And we are sharing it with our clients who were here earlier, and with the staff as well. Our celebrations began on Sunday. We had a church service on Sunday at the St. Barnabas Church. After that, there was a breakfast here at LESC, and it had a number of our board members, the minister was there, as well as all the staff.
Regional news next, but first a reminder that we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you think it's getting easier to do business in Barbados? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. The answer comes up at the end of the news. You can also follow CBC News on Twitter, CBC Barbados, and on Facebook, CBC News Barbados.